Welcome, Instagram family. I am about to talk to the beautiful Hara Amara. Let me, Aramaya, sorry, I said her last name wrong. Let me get her on. And I'm also going to pin this. Okay. Okay. Hopefully she'll be joining us soon. Hey!
Oh, thank you.
Hello, Hara. It worked. I never know.
I know. I was feeling, okay, fingers crossed. Internet God, IG, be with us.
Yes. For our 333.
Like, yes, 333. We're gonna do another 10 years, 20, 30.
um, let me read a little bit from your introduction so that everyone knows who you are. And I said your name wrong when I started. Hara Aramaya. Is that right? Aramaya is an Eros embodiment and womb awakening guide who works with those who desire to birth a life governed by love, alignment, and pleasure. Oh, I love that. They walk hand in hand with clients as they shed guilt, shame, and frustration and step into the power of their bodies, senses, and hearts. Formerly a burnt out registered nurse, yes, dominatrix, and sex worker, they have embraced their gifts to live in radiant alignment. They hold spaces through offering self-love, channeled guidance, pleasure, shadow work, and sacred sexuality embodiment rituals to help clients fully claim their birthright to pleasure and abundance. Hara currently resides in Mexico. Yes, we keep bumping into each other and is continuously looking for ways to support and nurture the local community. Ah, welcome. Um, I'm so happy to be having this conversation with you. And let me just do just a little bit about what these conversations have been about, or what they are, what inspired it. And it really was this desire that I have to explore this idea of sensual sovereignty, which I call embodied love, liberation, and the license to expand the expression of our true essence. Just being bigger of us in our bodies. And my first guest, Cosmos MD, had mentioned that she's into stepping outside of boxes, smashing boxes, and burning boxes. So this whole series is taking on this life of, as we reclaim or embrace our sensual sovereignty, we can burn boxes. We can step out of places that we have felt confined and constricted and be more fully ourselves, I guess. And so I wonder for you, I mean, from your bio and from knowing you a bit, like, I get the sense you have burned a lot of boxes in your life. So, um, is there, I suppose it's, my question is really whatever you feel guided to share about this, but I'm curious if there's, like, if there was a box at some point that once you stepped out of that, perhaps burned that, or at least moved out of it, it opened up so much more, and then, a process continued, perhaps.
Big question. Not like, like, but I think, by the way, introduction, the way you everything was just like, super juicy and lovey, and I love it.
That's how it's feeling in my body. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
So
I
juicy.
feel that one of the boxes, it's funny, think about these when what's not expected comes up. I think one of the boxes that the biggest box that I burned was the gender box for me. Uh, thing. And that kind of looked like as I stepped deep into my womb healing and sacred sexuality and the world of neo tantra and like Vajrayana yoga and like all these things, it made me realize that I was more than just somebody who's labeled as a woman. And it's not that, it's kind of into the social programs around the gender paradigm, like gender assignment paradigm in terms
Yeah.
of, and I just realized like at that moment, I realized how much I've limited myself and my capacity of my sensuality and my sexual energy and like creativity, and of course like also showing myself. I was still kind of all parts of me, and that is like it's been really interesting um, to experience that because as a womb awakening facilitator and like first embodiment, feminine embodiment guide, a lot of the times people, like just even feeling into it, I want to invite like our audience just to think about like in your thinking mind, what does that look like in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, and it's because a lot of people think maybe, not everybody, but some people a lot, like 80% of society maybe would think like, oh, maybe like it's the priestess archetype, like very like wearing the skirt and the things, and me diving deeper into my womb healing journey actually awakened an archetype within me that I call teacher. That's when I realized that I was actually non-binary, or rather like gender, even not identifying with either gender. That was probably one of the biggest boxes that I've burned through. Because from then on, it comes to this space of what felt in my experience was like true union.
Mm.
It was
Mm.
big.
Oh no, I can't hear everything you're saying, and I don't know if that's on my end. Mm.
Let's see. Mm,
It was just like every so often like a one word would drop, but then like a whole piece I think I couldn't hear. Okay, let's try it. We'll keep going and see.
yeah. Um, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly now.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. Um, must be the portal, something powerful coming through.
Something's coming through. I'm like, I know you said it was important, and that's what I know, and it just like
Yeah.
makes part of
Like,
it.
um, yeah, I wonder how the recording will come. But yeah, it was I don't know what you caught from that, but I was sharing about like breaking or maybe burning the gender box around it and
Yes,
how yeah.
there was something you said about archetype, like yeah, the gender box and what that opened up when you realized you could do it. But there was something that you said, and then there was something after that that I missed. But anyway, it's okay. Just like I got the main part. I think of this box being the biggest one, or the one that was most potent
Yeah.
to step out of.
Yeah, for
And
sure. Go ahead.
what did that open for you when you're not in this box of woman or female, and it's like you're opening up to your identification with so much more.
It brought up a sense of balance and freedom and like unbound and just
Yes.
like what was the word you said? Like license to be in the beginning. There was like a word that
Oh, in
you
the beginning. Yeah, I was saying license to expand the expression
yeah,
of our true
yeah.
essence. Yeah.
That was like my license to expand. And after that it felt just in my body a lot more balanced because there's this wholesome recognition of all parts of me
Mhm.
instead of being
Mhm.
one side over the other. So that was
Mhm.
probably one of the biggest thing. And I don't know if we caught this before. You know, a lot of the times people think like, oh, once you dive into this womb journey and the sacred sexuality journey, you'll get more what's like the typical, you know, wearing the dresses and all these things. And I'm like, yes, that's true. I mean, I'm wearing a dress right now. But also like sometimes I think diving deeper into our sensuality and our sexuality and our true creative energy really allows us to like enliven the fire, almost. Like that's what I'm getting right now, is like enlivening the fire and like the passion and all of your creative energy. And that's what it felt like for me. There's like this license to expand, license to create, and just
Mhm.
to be
Mhm.
self and all there is. And it actually allowed the inner masculine to step deeper into my body so I can hold better space for my feminine to rise up even more. So that's
Mhm.
experience was like for me. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like I was getting a both an image of like energy not getting, it was before perhaps like funneled into one area, and I was getting an image of like it's that barrier is broken down and it can actually expand, like we've been talking about, like expand more. And also a feeling, I could feel it in my body too, this kind of like this expansion and that embodied masculine, when when you have a good, when it's palpable, when you have that connection to it, how that's necessary or helpful to like hold the feminine, the feminine energy. I mean, do you still use, you're using masculine and feminine in those terms, or do you think of it differently?
I actually still use those terms, both,
Yeah.
because I feel like, you know, there's been like so many conversations around this, like, but
Yeah.
I ultimately feel like the route to union is like honoring the polarities as it is, not, you know, not necessarily favoring one or the other, and therefore, and it's
Mm-hmm.
also both parts
Mm-hmm.
without around it. And that's ultimately, I feel like, the most important part is, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can just be in both polarities and know that you get to honor this one and you get to also honor that, and then therefore you can show up as the full you. um, so yeah.
I really love that. I miss, like, it's every few words are just kind of like swallowed, but you said honoring both without something around it. What was,
Judgment.
okay, yeah, that was that was an important word. Yes, I love that. Oh, and what do you feel like really, I mean, I mean, I feel it's so important that when we're talking about burning boxes, like this one was one of the most potent for you, and to explain, the process, I really appreciate that. And then I'm curious, like, what that's allowed you, your essence, to expand into, like how that's impacted perhaps your work, or perhaps it's just in life showing up.
Yeah, This is, how has it impacted me?
Mhm.
I feel that it's allowed a deeper embodiment
Mhm.
of that unconditional loving and being able to witness others in their
Mhm.
full without really, again, like putting any judgment around it, which is something really interesting, something that's wanting to come through today, I guess.
Yeah.
Just really allowing, it's allowed me to enable the capacity of witnessing
Mm.
more than I feel like. Of course, like all the other things, even like being a sex worker who's fully out like about it, and being a former dominatrix fully out and still like guiding people through kink and BDSM and exploring that
Mhm.
side. And this is just, it allowed, like burning that box, it allowed me to expand even more in that capacity, because
Mhm.
ultimately, as we witness others deeper, right, as we can
Mhm.
witness we can witness others deeper in their truth. So that's sort of how it's kind of facilitated and expanded. Thank you for
Yeah.
asking.
Thank you. Um, yeah, I can imagine that. Like once that once you're out of that constricted box or something that's labeling and like almost like forcing your energy into this small space, and once that opens, the witnessing, I can definitely imagine like that's because you can see no matter what the gender, no matter like however someone's showing up, you're able to relate in some way and just like not want to put like you don't have those like the boxes do like to put when we have too many or when we're in rigid boxes ourselves, when we witness anybody else, we're just naturally inclined to put them into one of them, right? Like it's just like
Yeah.
um, we're limited in our capacity to really appreciate someone as they are, however they're showing up. Yeah, I can imagine that's really beautiful for your work with
Yeah.
clients and the safety they must feel, with you.
Yeah, I would say like there's not a lot of things that could raise my eyebrows, because I'm like combined with everything else. Like, trust me, I've seen all. Like, don't like first before that. I'm like, not really. I've like really seen it all.
I believe that. Yes.
And
Mm,
it's like, I want to express like the love that I have for even the title of this conversation, because it is
mm,
like so important in a way. Because, like you said, when we're a lot where when we have many boxes ourselves, we put others in those boxes. You're like compartmentalizing. You want everything to be tidy and organized, and Shakti is tidy and organized sometimes.
no. That's really not the nature of Shakti.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Shakti in its essence, I would just imagine it's super expansive. I mean, this is like energy, really potent energy, and even to be within us as humans in a way is kind of constricting it. But once we can really be open to that expansion, to that expression, um, we really connect to like the deeper power of Shakti and and the expression of it, in our lives. um, Hara, tell us a little bit about. because this is something I don't, because we have had lots of, we run into each other, but we haven't had that chance to really like talk at length like this, just the two of us. And I'm just curious about your journey, just like how, what led you to then eventually come here to Mexico, or like how does that look?
God, well,
Only
it's a
whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
broad journey. Yeah, I mean, where do we even start? So coming to Mexico was purely guided by spirit. I never thought we would be here in a million years, honestly. Not something that we think about every day when we're working in like a 9 to 5. For me, it was like a nursing and like just kind of
Okay.
grinding day-to-day basis.
Mhm.
And it brought me to Mexico was really, we were supposed to move to Hawaii, but it literally said in my Mexico. And we just found a random place in Merida and we were like, okay, this looks like a cool Airbnb. Let's go there. It's just purely guided again by spirit, like trusting
Yeah.
really surrendering to the feminine because I had asked for guidance. I had asked like, well, okay, you want me to leave nursing and I'm traveling cross country and it's
Mhm.
really a desire to ground somewhere and feel like grounded and connected in my body and into a physical dwelling and Mexico came as a guidance. So and it ended up being that in where we were quite an easy process to get residency, which we didn't even know that we could get residency. We thought we were just going to stay here for 6 months and do the whole expat, um,
Yeah.
like a digital nomading thing. But
Right. Right.
yeah, so we ended up getting our residency, and San Miguel had called to us again, just like guided by spirit. Didn't even know what San Miguel was really, just in passing a few times with friends, but we never really. We were like, oh yeah, like cool, let's check it out. But we're
Mhm.
guided here, so we ended up here. But really, it was what really awakened this, of course, like many things. But if I share one thing, we did get because I was a nurse and we got I like to call it the gift, the, yeah, the number 19. I don't want to say it because, it's, and it gets a bit tricky, but we did get number 19 and and to be in that state of just in my body, what it felt like was purging everything that was out of resonance in my field at that time. And I
Mhm.
thought, and we're getting a little deep here, it's like I thought I wasn't gonna wake up anymore at one point because we were just so sick. And I was under so much stress at that time in New
Mhm.
York City, really bad, big hospital, and it really, when you're in that state, it really like you realize a few things. And what I realized at that time was just like, okay, the time is now. Like follow your creative life force energy, follow your calling, follow your dharma, and like because you just never know, right? Everything is like bliss is in the place of knowing that everything's impermanent and just following what feels in flow. So that's sort of
Mhm.
how it kind of unfolded. And then here
Mm.
we are in Mexico,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
which is, I
I
guess, in a
Go
box,
ahead.
right? Both of us
What's
did
that?
that. As I guess in a way, it's burning a box in itself because we both kind of left that corporate-y world to come.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing all that, and the gift that had lessons for you or something, a process for you. Um, I'm reminded, or yeah, I guess I'm reminded of, oh no, did you find me? The tech, the tech gods are playing with us a little bit with the
Oh,
sound and everything. What's that?
they're
Um,
playing. They really want to be seen with
they
you.
want to um, what really struck me about what you shared, one of the things about what you shared with your story is that this like process that you went through of, and sometimes, yeah, there's a wake up call of some sort, a wake up call to like, okay, it's time to really follow where I'm guided, that kind of thing. But it sounds like that you have really tuned into that in your life to be able to follow that, like to go to places that you've never heard of or you don't know much about, but there's kind of like the guidance and everything. And I know in my own that's kind of how I end up here as well. A bit of that, like the following the guidance and connecting to a deeper knowing in the body or with spirit, however that shows up. Um, and I'm curious for you if that's something that has in your work as you've been doing this kind of work, if that's gotten or like how that's honed in more. Like, is that something that you've always had in your life, but you had that knowing, but maybe it took time to follow it more, or if it's something that's gotten a lot more clear and strong, you know what I mean?
I would say it's definitely been in my life before. I born like quite active, I guess per se, like active psychic center, and like that's a whole other story. But definitely, I'd need a coffee date for that one. But if for us, like doing this sort of like sensuality and sexual within ourselves, yeah, definitely has opened up gates for sure. Because ultimately, especially when it comes to sensuality, right? I love to call it like intelligence, and that's really being able to harness all of your senses and feeling safe and at home in your body and harnessing all of you, your magnetism, your radiance, which is essentially, again, what it roots down to really
Mm-hmm.
being able to be present,
Mm-hmm.
this, able to be able to listen into our inner knowing. And that definitely happened if in a lot of us, oftentimes there's so much separation between the body and the intuition, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And diving deeper into sensuality work has definitely, it's more than just about the bedroom, right? We know
Right.
this, like it's way more than just about the bedroom. It really is just about cultivating a sense of,
Oh no, it went silent.
oh
You
no,
said it's about cultivating a sense of, and then it all went sound like what?
I, whoa, okay, so this transmission, whatever's gonna happen, because it was working fine before this. But yeah, sensuality about like really cultivating that sense of safety of being in your body. And when you are able to harness that sensual intelligence, you can really fully receive, right? That's how I kind of like understand our senses, is the way that we exchange with the universe into this is our sacred energy exchange constantly with our higher self, with our guides. And so being able to harness your sensuality is like, yeah, it's definitely like one of the biggest form of facilitation that has held space to allow that channel within us to, or at least within this experience, to really open up for sure.
Mm. love. Uh, you're like speaking my language. Of course, but I love hearing you say. I love hearing your transmission of it. It's so powerful, sensual, the sensuality and the sensual intelligence, and really connecting to that. And yes, so much bigger than the bedroom. Not that that doesn't have its own potency, but just like, you know. But yeah, I really love that. I came across, maybe it was on Instagram, that someone has written a book called Sensual Intelligence.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like a sensual IQ, something like that, you know.
Mm.
And I don't even think it's out yet. I think it's like she was um, promoting it like it's gonna come out. But I was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad someone's writing about that, or like people can have more awareness of that, and what it means to really attune to the senses and allow that to take us like very deep into our bodies, into our nervous systems, into our um, like inner GPS kind of thing. That's
Yeah,
sometimes how I think of it.
I love the galactic system navigation.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I know there's so much to talk about, and we can talk for longer. I don't know what's going on with our sound and all that, like if people can hear
Yeah,
it. But I really want us to know, everyone to know about your work and what you like. I know you have some beautiful offerings now, things that are coming, um, where people can find you and how they can work with you.
sure. Well, people can find me on here on Instagram. It's at i.m.hara. Or you can go to www.themonarchtemple.com and it kind of links you to everything um, that is going on right now. And we actually have a community meditation tomorrow, so that's going to be a really sweet one to come into. Every time we drop into it, really like an embodiment meditation. So we drop into our breath, drop into our bodies. Again, harnessing quality as well in it, infused. And tomorrow is all about release and receive. So,
Oh, tomorrow's meditation.
hmm yeah.
Yes, that's gonna be so good. Kind of close to the new moon.
Exactly. Perfect timing. I was like, okay, this is what wants to come through. It's just meditating with almost water embodiment, being able to flow, allow
Yeah,
everything that's not needed and receive what's new to come.
yeah. That's powerful. When we can learn to do that, when we can make the space to be able to receive and hold, yeah, what's coming. Oh, thank you.
Thank
Is there anything else, any offerings specifically that you want to share, or people can find you at the Monarch Butterfly?
Yeah, they can find me there right now,
Mhm.
5-week program that's going on. Um, it's called Ease, and it's all about tuning into our center, tuning into the center of our power, which is our hearts and our wombs, so that you can voice your truth, like literally create the world, the external world, to what feels in resonance to you. Because ultimately, how we create is through our voice, right? So, connecting the creative center, the unconditional love, and the voice, and then coming through your voice, that will be the beauty. So, right, program 2 weeks in, people can join in late. But yeah, so that's like what I kind of have going on right now, and everything else is pretty much like one-on-one spaces, and also fingers crossed we'll be having VIP in-person days here in SMA in San Miguel, so we'll see.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and there's more, of course, like on the links, like sacred plant medicine retreats and all of these things are that would be like few months from now. Thank you for asking.
Mhm. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing. So beautiful.
I'm in to see how it comes out in the record.
No, I'm curious too. Yeah. It's maybe it's on my end or something that I can't, like I'm not hearing words or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's because I can hear you here clear, but then it
Okay.
like loading, so it's really interesting. I don't
Mm,
my end or your end. Maybe it's the 3-3 thing happening today at 3-3. So we were both like in a workshop before this, right? And everything was smooth. So
yeah,
it's
exactly. So,
um well, whatever. Maybe we'll get to do another one. We get to go deeper
yes,
conversation. Maybe we'll get to create something. Who knows? We'll
I
see.
know, I know. I think, where did I find? I posted it, but the 333, I think part of it was like creativity and like collaboration and things like that. So yeah, maybe something will come of it. We'll see how it looks.
For sure.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, love. Oh, this was pleasure. Thank you, friend. Back to your sacred space. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you. Beautiful.
thank you.
Mm.